FYF Sports Man, it's Lamont here. We back with another podcast video, man. Today we got some interesting news out of the NBA. Mark Cuban's back in the news. Today we're going to be discussing the NBA ratings. Mark Cuban kind of touched on it on Twitter, kind of going back and forth with some people on Twitter. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And, you know, I really want to know if this is something that's going to affect the NBA going into next season. Obviously, they're going to have to find a way to fix these ratings. It can't continue on. But we got to see what the cause of the problem is. And a lot of people have their thoughts. Before we get started today, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to the video if you haven't done so already. Appreciate all the engagement. Appreciate all of the viewers who've jumped into our live chats, live debates, jumped into the panel. Click the link to bring your debate on whatever topic that we cooking on. But again, we appreciate all of that. The only way you can know when we go live, because a lot of you guys have asked, when are you going live? The only way you know when we go live is you hit the notification bell. Hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. So when we do go live, because we don't have really a set schedule, you want to make sure you know when we go live so you can jump in, give your thoughts on whatever we're talking about for that day. But again, we appreciate everybody who's participated so far. But today, again, we're talking about the NBA. The NBA is going to have to fix this issue with the ratings. Now, whether the rating system is flawed, whether the rating system doesn't account for certain types of streaming views, something has to get fixed because it can affect some of the TV deals, some of the money that's coming into the league, and that all ultimately can affect the NBA cap. And again, when that changes, things really start to change in the NBA. But, you know, there was a back and forth. You know, Mark Cuban has his thoughts on why he feels the NBA ratings weren't as successful. Mark Cuban directly blames the NBA. But in a back and forth on Twitter, Mark Cuban went back and forth with Governor Ted Cruz. He went back and forth with him about the reasons for this. And we can look at Mark Cuban's original tweet where, you know, in a response, you know, since when is the desire to end racism an insult to anyone? And that's what he was saying with part of the quote. And you don't think using GetWoke or GetWokeGoBroke hashtag is partisan insult? Again, this is who you are. So Ted Cruz has been tweeting a lot about the NBA rating. Ted Cruz is one of those people. He's really against the NBA being involved in some of these social justice initiatives and messages. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people, I'm hearing a lot of people say that they don't want to tune into sports and have to see or deal with some of these social issues. On the other hand, I believe that, yes, that's true to some degree, but when these social issues are thrown into your face like that, you have no choice but to actually address them and find solutions to the problem. And I think here in the United States, I think we, especially when there are problems that we're embarrassed about, I think we try to run away from certain issues or problems. And that's one of the issues. That's why this social issue is so hard for so many people to address head on. And when they constantly see that message thrown at them over and over, and they know it's not something that they honestly want to sit down and have a conversation about, find ways to rectify it and fix it throughout, you know, not, you know, our daily lives, the economy, the business, schools, things of that nature. Well, that's where the true problem lies. But that's just my opinion on the topic. And so Mark Cuban, he feels that in an article that I read on Clutch Sports, he feels that the NBA just didn't do a very good job of marketing the NBA bubble. Ted Cruz, he feels that people just aren't tuning in because of the social issues. And I highly disagree with that, because even when you tune into these games, you can tune into these games, those social slogans and messages, and those things aren't really that apparent. Once the game gets going up and down and you're cheering teams on and you're seeing the action, a lot of those things with regards to the social issues and the social messages, they kind of became irrelevant to a certain degree. And this is why I was against using slogans on the court, slogans on jerseys, because I knew once these guys got to running up and down on the court, we really wouldn't pay attention to those messages. I think it was something done to capitulate to the players, to say that, look, we're actually doing something. But I don't think these slogans and T-shirts, they didn't really do anything, and they didn't really bring that much notoriety or awareness to the actual situation. The notoriety and awareness to the situation is already there. We need action being taken. We need to see actionable things done in the community that will correlate to getting these problems resolved, if not in the short term, at least the long term. And that's what I think the NBA and the Players Association, I think that's where they missed the ball. Now, hopefully they have something in works. Maybe they have some type of plan to directly fix and repair some of these communities that need it. But I just didn't think that's my thoughts on why I didn't think these slogans would be effective. And now that you're throwing these slogans in front of people on the court, now people can use it as an excuse to say, oh, this is why we're not watching. But honestly, like I said, once the games got going up and down, the slogans, what you saw on the court was not something that was a point of emphasis. It wasn't a focus. Like I said, they became irrelevant because you didn't even know they were there. So again, Ted Cruz, what I think Ted Cruz is doing is just taking shots where he can. He saw that the NBA's ratings dropped and he sees an opportunity to take a shot. He acts as if and poses as if he's an actual NBA fan. He isn't, and just blames the social issues or the social awareness of the NBA as the culprit for why the ratings are dropping. But again, I think we have to be a little bit more technically sound. We got to understand how some of these ratings and these rating systems actually work. And until we actually understand that, I think it's too hard to say that people are tuning in or not tuning in just because of, just some of the social issues. And I want to pull up a quote here by Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban specifically stated, I don't think it has anything to do with politics. I just think we don't have the matchup and the storylines. We didn't do a good job of promoting it. That's what the Mavs owner said. Again, I agree. I don't think the league did a really good job of promoting or pushing bubble play. Obviously, I know they were in a tough situation, having to create this bubble situation, fulfill contract, TV contracts and things of that nature. So I understand the dilemma that they were faced with. But at the end of the day, something went wrong, whether it was marketing, whether it was the social issues, whether it was just the timing of being around the NFL. We had the WNBA championship. You got the MLB playoffs. You got hockey going on right now. I mean, there's so many, that's not including some of the MMA events that are going on over the weekends. I mean, there's so much going on in sports right now. I just think the timing of it really, really affected what the NBA was trying to do. So when we pull up the TV ratings, they did hit all-time lows with just 5.7 million viewers tuning into Game 5, according to the Nielsen Media Research. And the Nielsen ratings, that's fairly reliable. But again, I just don't know how well those ratings calculate things like streams or online platforms where you can actually watch the game. And it basically went on to say that was a meager tally compared to the previous finals. And they went as far back as 1998, where with the Jordan and the Bulls, where there were 30.6 million viewers. And that's understandable. That you got to think of when the Bulls played, and that's why I don't like comparing this bubble situation to some of these other championships, because all of those games took place in April, May, even June. And if you think of April, May, and June, the NFL's not doing anything. Baseball's just starting up, so baseball's not really taken seriously until maybe July, August. The two other major sports in this country are not playing, and even the WNBA is not started up around that time. So, and if they are, they're just a shell of themselves. They don't get ratings anyway. So I don't think you can really compare this season to any other season. I think it's so different. It's placed itself in a league of its own. And I think the NBA needs to be happy with the viewers that they did have, 5.7 million viewers. Avid sports fans were always tuned in. Now, with this COVID situation, all businesses are going to have to reinvent themselves to some degree. Everyone is going to have to market differently. Everyone is going to have to try to push their products differently because everything is different. From college basketball to college football. I mean, I think all sports didn't do a very good job of marketing their actual sport. I don't recall seeing a commercial promoting the the baseball pennant chasers. I don't remember that. I don't remember seeing commercials like I normally would promoting a certain football game coming on Sunday. And the same, you know, I can do that with a number of sports. I haven't seen those pay-per-view commercials promoting that big fight. I haven't seen it. So I think across the board, a lot of these leagues are struggling to not just create a safe situation for their athletes to take, you know, to participate in, but then they also have to remarket whatever they're trying to sell. Now, that could potentially be to a lot of these sports not wanting to really showcase their sports or their best stars in empty arenas or empty venues. And I can understand that as well. But we don't know how long this COVID situation is going to be prevalent in our communities, just in the United States in general. And this is something that we're all going to have to adapt to. And as we move forward in this, the NBA will adapt. The NBA is going to find new ways to market their product. And again, this bubble situation was a test. This bubble was a test that passed. You know, no players tested positive. There were really, you know, for the most part, there were no issues. There were no, you know, players getting in trouble. We didn't see this large influx of players like a lot of people thought getting kicked out the bubble. There's only one player kicked out the bubble. That was Daniel House. So for the most part, the bubble was a success. And when you can walk out of the bubble with 0 positive tests while you're there, if you can walk out of the bubble with, you know, 0, you know, close to 0 discipline issues from players, where a lot of people felt that they would be, you know, undisciplined enough to stay in the bubble that long without causing havoc. I give the NBA a hands up for running this. What they did was they gave every other team a formula on how to operate a perfect bubble. And they did it successfully. So I'm not here to bash on it. I attribute the ratings drop to marketing issues and not pushing the product correctly. Mark Cuban feels the same way. But you'll have a lot of people out there saying it has something to do with the Black Lives issue. And again, this is what happens when you put those slogans on the court. A lot of people call me crazy when I said we don't need that on jerseys or on the court. And now it's backfiring on the NBA because now people are using that. It was something that didn't do anything already, and now they're using that as a reason to not watch your product. That's why I say let's stop doing the stuff that's frivolous, that doesn't mean anything, that won't give you anything intangible or tangible. That's what those slogans are doing. Those slogans mean nothing. They're not going to provide us with anything. We need to see real action in our communities. We need to see real work being done with regards to some of these police forces to rectify some of the problems in our community. But you guys, make sure you let me know what you think about this video. I would love to hear back from you in the comments. And, you know, what are your thoughts? Why are the ratings low? Have you heard something different? This is the first time I've heard someone step out and say it was a marketing issue. The product was not pushed correctly. You have to take that into consideration. And I think that, along with a myriad of other issues, was the true reason why the ratings had dropped significantly this year. But make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to the video if you haven't done so already. Appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody for all the support thus far. Again, we're trying to grind. Right now, we're grinding to 20K. It's been a slower grind than I thought. We're edging up to the 14K right now. Close to being halfway there, but I really look forward to seeing a bigger push going into end of October. Going into November, we need to already be at 20K, 25K, and we got to be looking to grow past that. All right. And the only way we grow past that, if you guys like, comment, share, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. Because again, the more people that you bring in this community, it's gonna make our live debates more lit. It's gonna make the comments better. It's gonna help me boost the quality and content of the show. It's going to help me do better giveaways and more giveaways for you guys. That's what we want for this show. We want everybody to win. I want to be able to give something back to you guys whenever and whenever or if I can. But FYF Sports, another great episode, and we will be back with more later.